Hey everyone! Welcome to another WRP live play TTRPG session. What is WRP? Why, that's me, Faye, game master and storyteller, and Lachlan, our writer and producer. We're a couple who love sharing stories so much so that we quit our day jobs and we created our own company. That way we could create high quality and exciting TTRPG experiences full time and share them with you. And tonight, we're playing D&D. This session features D&D's Shadow of the Dragon Queen, a riveting adventure of courage and valor where our intrepid heroes face unbeatable odds in a cataclysmic war. With us at the table are several of the incredible players who have joined us on our grand endeavor. If you'd like to play alongside them, you're more than welcome to join us as well. You can ask in chat or hop over to our Discord where you can find out more. Now, speaking of our awesome players, it's time for introductions. Like I said, I'm Faye, game master and storyteller. With me is Sirenscape, bringing our background music and sound effects. It's a fantastic and affordable sound collection that you can find at sirenscape.com. And now, let's meet our intrepid heroes as they are coming on the tails of some strange occurrences in Castle Calamon. So, let us begin with a introduction for Vass.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm playing Vass. He is a devilishly handsome tiefling bard rogue. He has found himself accidentally stumbling across the multiverse. And this week's fun fact about Vass is he hates the cold. Does not like to be cold.
Oh, Vass, I relate with you so much on that. Um, but amazing. Uh, Hopefully you guys aren't going anywhere cold in the coming future. But onwards with our introductions. Next up, let's meet Hugh.
Hi, I'm Stefan. I'm playing Hugh DeVere, a fearsome fencer. And the fun fact about him is he spent a lot of time as a kid just climbing trees. And that's kind of his happy place. So whenever they're climbing things, he's just, he's feeling good and safe and like he's with his dad just climbing trees in the forest.
Love it. We'll see what there is to climb and get into in these coming days. Next up on our list, let's learn about Rue.
Okay, I am Frontboard and I'm playing Rhubarb Bafflewander, or Rue for short, one of his many gnomish names that most of which you guys don't know. He's a gnome sorcerer from the island of Sancrist, far to the west of our setting, here to investigate claims of lizard folk raiders, which turned out to be true. Maybe not quite a fun fact, but a mechanical procedural fact is that for this episode, Rhubarb has changed his lunar affinity from the full moon to the crescent moon of Lunatari, which happens to be his favorite moon. So that tracks.
Ayo, okay. Amazing. And then last but certainly not least, let's hear about Victoria.
Hey, I'm Cable. I'm playing Victoria. Victoria's a tall armored woman wearing the armor of Salamic Knight, or Billy Rose. She wears a symbol of Paladine, and it's also etched on her shield. Totally lost myself there. She's hey, fun fact. She's young, but she is a widow.
Yeah, that's really a fun fact, putting the fun in funeral.
Yeah, hey man, we gotta set the pace here.
All right. So, yeah, that is all of our introductions, and with that, we are able to begin our session. And our session begins in the morning after you had delved through the catacombs. You've all, of course, gained the benefits of a long rest. But as the day begins, the castle is it is quiet but busy. People are attending to the remains of the slaughter, and of course Vendry is here trying to wrangle in a bit of order during this catastrophe. But you've not been called for any sort of meetings, so the day is yours as it would normally be, to attend to your own endeavors. Thus, you have a performance coming up in 2 nights at the Beacon.
Excellent.
So, what are you all doing as dawn encroaches and you are awake?
I mean, is Vass really awake at dawn?
I mean, it doesn't have to stay dawn when you describe what you're doing. I'm just letting you know that morning has
Answer.
arrived.
And the answer to that question is no.
Unless he's been kept up all night because of teleportation and other things, because...
Oh.
Oof. But... yeah, what are you guys, what are you guys doing? Are you pursuing thoughts that have plagued you about your enemies? Or perhaps pursuing leads that may have appeared, preparing for your next business endeavor?
Do we know if the word that like this whole council has been slaughtered has been like made public?
As far as you're aware, it is not common knowledge. However, it has only been a few hours. There are, of course, staff members of the castle, and, you know, people can talk. You don't know if they have, but Vendry came hours after your emergence from the catacombs. So it's not being cried out on the streets by the city criers. So you don't hear any massive rumors. At least not this early after the event.
That's not going to last.
Oh, why do you say that?
I mean, people can't keep secrets. People gonna know.
What are they? Is everyone kind of up and stirring at dawn? Aside from Vass, like that's around when I imagine Victoria gets up.
Yeah, Rue's up.
I feel like Rue always being up is because Rue takes like a handful of micro naps through the day.
Like the old person method.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like he should have been a warlock and got short rests all through the day.
Just sleeps when the body tells you.
I mean, he's got to have enough energy to like wake up in the middle of the night, you know, commune with the moons for a couple hours here and there.
Hey, Rue. Rue, are you awake? What do you think they're doing about? I completely blanked on his name. You know, the jerk whose son is
Bakaris.
reaping the. Yeah. What do you think they're doing about Bakaris?
You know, it's kind of funny you mentioned that because, as much as he's a jerk, I'm kind of concerned about the guy. He did seem like he's lost a kid, either literally or figuratively. And that's got to be tough on even the jerkiest of jackals.
Led the army to its slaughter and left the city defenseless.
Maybe he thought he was doing what was best. I've seen people confused before.
The thing. So you don't think? I mean, we didn't see them like put him in chains or anything. I guess by the point that Vandry got back, we were probably already all sacked out.
You got back just like by the time that Vendry arrived back with Darrett, Vendry went full into work mode. Darrett was the one that talked to you guys after you gave your briefings, and that's when you would have probably gone to bed. So you've not seen anything of Bakaris.
Look, Victoria, I'm not trying to defend his actions, just there's a lot of things in play that could have led to the decisions that he made and why he made them.
I'm just more concerned about him being left alone to cause more. To start the next disaster.
I think he's compromised.
Well, no, even if he's not, he obviously has some sort of pull enough that he could convince everyone to do what he did, and now whatever drove him before, now maybe he will be even driven even more to some extremes with what's happened with his son.
Yeah, Rue thinks on that for a moment and does agree that if he's lost his son, or he believes he's lost his son, then he has less to lose and he could become more reckless. You have a point.
You think Darrett's up?
I don't know. Where did you leave the last?
What do you mean? Where did I didn't. I assume he went to crash out in the barracks where he stays.
You would know that Darrett actually stays on the 3rd floor of the Castle Calamon with the rest of the city guard.
Isn't that the barracks?
No, there is a separate barracks that
Okay.
is attached to Castle.
I knew it was the 3rd floor, like there, but I just thought it was the barracks. But
No.
Okay.
Technically, there is a separate barracks.
Okay.
There are also other guards, but those are...
Yeah.
So, okay. The city guard stays in the barracks for those that are here, and then the castle guard is on the 3rd floor.
Right, okay. I was thinking the right place. Apparently, my mouth was uninformed. I think how long till Vass gets out?
Judging by the sun, 3 to 4 hours.
What are your plans today? What are you planning to do today, Hugh? I assume he was up.
Oh, Hugh was contemplating how his sword was ineffective against those skeletons, and he's wondering if he might need an upgrade to kill undead in the future. So he's thinking about if there's a way to magic up his weapon. Not.
I think Hugh's lost in thought, Victoria. He's just staring at his sword.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
What
it's
do you
some
think?
weird forest guy's training method.
Um, my years in the forest, I've never seen that, but that's from the humans of Sandcrest. It could be different.
Do you even know how to use a sword?
I watched the humans from the woods. I have a town near my forest.
You with his +8 perception hears you like it's real. This one's real simple. You stick him with the pointy end.
I'm just wondering if maybe we need to get Rue a sword.
I've got Luna and I've got Nua. He points to the daggers at his belt. That's all I need. Pointy enough.
Yeah, isn't that basically a sword equivalent for your size?
I assume they're short dagger size too.
I assume they were scale. But I guess that could be debated.
I would say that it is scaled, so it is a gnomish-sized dagger.
I mean, if you're wondering about Derek, you could just go downstairs and try and find him if you were curious.
I don't want to crowd him.
Otherwise, I was thinking about going over to Wyans. I have a little unfinished business there. Maybe see if she knows anything about these creatures that they took over the city.
Thank her again for teleporting us.
Does Vass still owe her money?
Yes.
I just
Yes.
imagine a Rue moment where Rue like bangs on Vass's door in the morning. Do you still owe Wyan money?
I was actually thinking about being more subtle and going to steal it from Vass's pouch while he was asleep.
Damn.
Collecting.
Vass doesn't have the money. That's why he still owes her. If he had the money, he would have paid her.
Rue's just looking for a reason to go through Vass's pockets, it seems.
See if he's got any other toad-shaped trinkets for me. Also, I'm curious if this is in character. I'm curious if the gates are still closed or if they open them back up. Curious why they locked them in the first place. Who convinced them to lock them? It just seems like there's not a lot of answers right now.
Maybe I'll ask about that in a little bit. I think Victoria is just going to hang around all morning until Vass gets up.
Okay, well, mid-morning, Vass groggily heads down to wherever the nearest pot of coffee is and attempts to wake up.
I kind of pictured like we would have our own setup here.
I feel like with the amount of time that you have had in the city and with Vass's morning rituals, the staff had worked a sort of set coffee station in your open area where Rue kind of in the same area that Rue has his bed, but in a different portion of that room.
God bless them.
Well, if Victoria's hanging out, Rue's gonna take off. Hugh, you're welcome to come with me if you want. I'm probably gonna go to Wyans and maybe the West Gate, see if things are more civil there than they were when we showed up yesterday. Maybe see if the Bogler people are okay.
Yeah, I'll come along.
Right.
And I think while we're walking, I'm trying to be extra perceptive on if I hear people grumbling and talking about events, the strange happenings on the city streets, assuming there are people out and about and chatting and stuff.
Okay. So why don't we? So for the time being, as we do still have to wait for Vaz to wake up, why don't we follow Rue and Hugh on the streets of Calaban? So as you move through the city, it is as it as it normally is. But for those of you who may be trying to keep a ear out for perhaps some town talk and gossips, roll for me perception checks based on hearing.
23.
23. Most of the conversation that you overhear. Oh no, Hugh! Oh, and Siren
I have
Escapes.
so much wax in my ears right now.
Siren Escapes getting funky, so we may be losing her shortly. But Rue with a 23 perception. Yep, there we go. There's not a lot of conversation that seems to be pertinent to the massacre that you're picking up, at least not in the common streets. But as you are walking by one of the shops, you can hear where the shop owner and a parting to one of the clientele by the door. Just be careful. Who knows what's going on these streets? Strange ongoings. And stranger figures. And just kind of gives you a look, Rue. Not so much with recognition, but a general wariness. And paired with those words, leaves you with a sort of ominous feeling.
You say that directly to me?
No, so it's a look that you would notice that he's giving most anyone. But you just happen to hear it at the same time as you're passing by and he's looking at you.
Who's gonna make eye contact with him and get close enough and say, "Are you the one that tried to steal my potion a while back?" Don't usually forget a face.
There is a look of sheer confusion on this figure. I don't work in potionery. I don't need to be stealing wares.
Keep your hands to yourself.
Just roll for me an intimidation check as you say this.
15.
15. The figure looks away quickly. Doesn't seem to be perhaps wanting to get involved in whatever whatever beef might be stewing within one rhubarb bafflewander. But yeah. What do you do anything on your way to Volgler refugees?
Uh, yeah, I think we want to go through the gate into Vogler first. We can stop at Wyans on the way back. There's time.
Uh, that's. Do you wish to stop at Wyans before or after heading towards the gate?
I personally want to stop after.
So, uh, as you then make your way to the gate, what is it that you would like to do at the gate? It is currently open, but there are guards that are monitoring who comes and who goes into the city.
Rue's gonna lead it. He looks like they just opened it back up.
Hmm. Well, this is your show. I'm just your muscle and sounding board.
So I need these guards. I'm curious why they shut it down, but I don't know if right now I want to ask too many questions. Raise suspicion. Let's just head up to the Bachler people.
Okay. The refugees at Vogler are, of course, eager and welcoming to see you all and for your visit. But there doesn't seem to be much in the form of any sort of dire circumstances as you enter in. Again, they've settled in well enough for the situation as it is. There is training that is being overseen by the time that you arrive, and you're able to, if you would like to, enter in and assist with that, or assist with other matters, such as tending to perhaps the sick or the weary, and just putting in some community service, making yourself well known with the figures. Check in on friends that you have made.
I hear your trainees seem like they're doing good still.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
I'm glad that Bakaris didn't lead them get slaughtered. Shows good survivalship traits. May make it out of this war yet.
I think knowing that the Bogler people seem to be in good shape, that's good too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried that there's like evil aura in the air, making people do things they might not necessarily want to do. I mean, that even that spirit that was on you, like it could have taken control just like it did that night. Like
Mm-hmm.
others could have been affected as well. Strange stuff. You feel okay from that, Hugh?
Yep. Hmm. Well, if they're doing well, maybe we should just leave them be. But maybe, unless we should just check in with the leader to see if they're doing all right.
You could find Raven.
Yeah, we should check with Raven how they're doing.
Easy enough to find Raven, as she is out part of the training, and as you give notice, she'll continue your drills, and she'll jog over to where you all are, the two of you, and yes, what can I do for you?
What can
Just
we do for you? How are things?
Things are good.
we came back from a sortie. some sort of mission yesterday. It seemed there was some sort of commotion at the gates. I just kind of wanted to make sure everything was okay here outside the gates with you and the people.
We've been better, of course, but since your assistance at Wheel Watch, we've been at good standing. Completion for Calamon's military provides for us the money needed for food and trade to best our community.
Have you heard any reports back or interesting information about what happened at the gates yesterday and why the guards had it closed?
Unfortunately not. I was here outside the troops and we have no business having to have gone in, so we didn't even attempt, but we heard much of the commotion for those that were lying in wait.
Understood. Well, I'm glad you're safe. I'm doing well. It won't take too much of your time then.
Okay. It looks like they're doing good.
If I see Hope as we leave, I want to just stop by and say hi to her too.
Yeah, easily enough done. She smiles. Rhubarb, Hugh, it is good to see you.
Glad we find you well. Rue kind of like puffs his chest out a little bit and kind of like points at his new cloak that he found in the catacombs. And then says, I found some new clothing to match the clothes that you made for me. I think the colors suit really well.
Wonderful. It very much suits you, Rhubarb.
I've got this new belt too. Points to the belt that's kind of like half hidden underneath the cloak. It's made from the hide of this lizard beast that we fought out near Hugh's home.
It is a piece I've seen like none other.
It matches the stuff you gave us. Actually, so do you know if we happen to go north, is it colder up there?
In my experience, it was not much colder. In fact, it gets quite arid. But I guess it really depends on where exactly in the north you are traveling.
Honestly, not sure. I'm like debating whether to drop the City of Lost Names on her. In our travels or my lifetime, have I ever heard of City of Lost Names before?
Roll me a history check.
Trying to determine like how common knowledge that might be.
Neither of you have heard of it before.
Um, I'm not exactly sure my destination up north right now. If I can find out more, maybe I'll come back and let you know where we're going. See if we need to make adjustments to apparel as necessary to suit the climate.
Well, if you need anything, I will do my best to provide attire-wise.
Thank you. Shall we, Hugh?
Yes, we shall.
Let's go to Wyatt's real fast.
Okay.
All right. So, you make your way back through the city again with ease. The gates are open, and the guards do recognize you, and so you are able to walk over to Wine's shop, and let's get some Wine's shop sort of sounds as... Oh. There we go. And the mage is there.
I didn't even have to use the knock this time.
Well, you are coming through during operation hours.
Understood. Why we've had some eventful times lately. Had some experiences I wasn't necessarily expecting to have with creatures I've only heard stories of. Is anyone else in the store?
Currently, it seems that it is just you, Hugh, and Wyan.
Perfect. Creatures that don't necessarily seem to be living anymore, but still able to move and act and attack.
Yes, the undead that were here last night.
So you know they were here.
In a sense. They made a bit of a ruckus on their way out, and undead have a certain magical stench about them. Nothing wrong with necromancy in theory. It has its uses, though it is not something that I am fond of.
It's interesting that you say that they have a certain stench about them. It did seem like at one point Victoria was trying to kind of pick up on them herself as well. I don't know if she was able to feel them or not. So I was wondering if you had any ways to help us combat such creatures or beings. I'm worried we're going to encounter them again. They seem resistant. It's harder to attack and defeat.
Unfortunately, well, I do carry some mystical arcanum. You probably have the tools at your disposal. I probably do not have much more that I could offer you. Though, on another offerings, I do have a report back to you. My contacts at the Tower of High Sorcery in Wayrith, they have denied your request to travel there to participate in the test of high sorcery. There is the threat of the dragon army, and it is too great. The do not want to be perceived as taking sides in the conflict. However, the head of the conclave, the mage Parsalian, has granted you a special exception. And Wyan would then move over and grab a small token, a wooden brooch from behind the counter. And she offers it to you. You see that it is studded with black, red, and white stones in the symbol of the mages of high sorcery. Until a time of your test to be decided after the dragon army's threat has passed, you are allowed to practice magic as a provisional member of the mages of high sorcery. Until the time of your test, this token represents the conclave's blessing. So I guess congratulations is in order, Rhubarb.
Thank you. Now I don't have to carry this scroll around either. It does dishearten me a little bit, Wyan, that the mages say that they won't take sides. I guess I can understand it, but it seems to be a lot of power that could be used to right any imbalances that might occur.
And that is where the hesitation lies. In the might. Currently, we are at a balance. Precarious one. But they are wary of dragging any sort of eyes into their direction. I had extended conversations. This is, unfortunately, the best that can be done in this situation.
I just hope that by the time the mages do decide to take action, it's not too late, if they take action at all.
Rest assured, Rhubarb. The mages of high sorcery, while presenting as a unified front, has more individual players than not. If you're looking for allies, casting the right nets, we'll find them. Now, I do have a business to run, so if you have no more questions or missives, I will ask that you do allow me to service customers.
Do you have one more question?
All right.
Who did you give the hide to that I gave to you a couple days ago?
And she pulls out a name of one of the leather workers nearby the shop.
Okay.
So, I don't have a name written down for you, but you
That's
have
fine.
it. Easy enough for you to go and to either collect the hide or to see if they could perhaps be acting as the middleman. You said that these are going to turn into boots.
Mhm.
Yeah, so easy enough to conduct that business. And just to make this a little easy, during the 2 days of downtime, Rhubarb, do you do any sort of potion crafting or potion selling?
That's a good question. I want to brew two and try and sell one.
Okay. So go ahead for selling. Make for me a persuasion check, please.
Am I allowed to use my bardic inspiration trinket and my guidance to do so?
I would say the bardic inspiration, yes. Guidance, this is more of an extended over time thing rather than immediate. So, because bardic inspiration can last for 10 minutes, I would say that makes sense that you can utilize it.
Understood. You said persuasion?
Persuasion.
That's terrible. What's bardic? Is it a D6?
I believe Vass is at a d6 right now.
That's an 11.
And 11. There are figures that come through. They look at your wares, and there's very little interest in purchasing. You try your best in spiking up conversations and interest, but only one buyer comes by, and I could offer you 75 gold.
Sold.
Okay. So, 75 gold. The buyer takes the potion, and then we'll head off. And as that happens, we do come for a moment back into a standard timeline as morning in Castle Calamon. Vass, you are awake. There are 2 days until your concert. What is it that you do?
Based on his recent experiences in the catacombs and all of the information that he's been learning lately, he's very lost. He doesn't know anything about the cataclysm. He doesn't know anything about this Soth person. So I think he would, at some point during those 2 days, go to a library to try and see if he can learn something so he doesn't feel so confused.
Okay. So in the morning, as you prepare your coffee, thinking of all these past experiences and how lost you are in the world, you would notice that Victoria is present.
She's politely not getting in the way of his coffee ritual, but also politely trying to get in the way of his coffee ritual.
It's when
Do
the
so at your own risk.
Yeah, it's the coworker that stands at the edge of you on your break.
Morning.
Good morning. Are you awake enough to answer some questions?
There's only one way to find out.
Okay. I'm having trouble. And you know, Garrett, okay. I'm not that kind of person, but how I'm having trouble getting him from there, and she just kind of points in a random direction to um, there, and she kind of points towards her little room, and her super pale skin kind of colors a little bit. And I don't I'm just worried that something's going to happen to one or both of us, and I would hate to have questions unresolved.
Yeah, no, I understand the concern. Um, have you been dropping any hints?
Think so?
You think so? Does it seem like he just hasn't been picking up what you're laying down, or maybe he has been and is just not receptive? I don't think it's the latter.
I think he's interested. It's just I don't. Maybe he's really busy. I don't know.
You know what? Life is short. You gotta enjoy it while you're here. Sometimes you just gotta be direct.
Yeah, I don't want to scare him away. I think maybe sometimes I might come out a little strong.
Have you tried talking to him about what you would like to get out of the relationship?
No, I didn't. Well, I didn't. What if I? What if I'm presuming more than I should be presuming?
You're not.
Oh,
You're not.
oh, oh,
I've seen him with you. You're not presuming more than what's there.
oh. That's okay. All right. Okay. So, just kind of throw it out there. What? Like,
I mean, if you want something, go after it.
okay. Which I don't know. I don't know if that's. I guess that would be kind of the advice you would expect out of a bard.
Hey, it's worked for me. So,
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Vass. Enjoy
yeah,
your
no
coffee.
problem.
As uh, you have been kind of walked through this small dilemma, Victoria, and as uh, that you are preparing yourself for a trip to the library, this is where we must take our first ad break. So, stick around with us. We will be right back to continue on our story, and we'll see what happens at the library, what happens with Darrett, and what is coming up on the horizon for our heroes. But I do ask that you stick around, that you let the ads run. Ads are a huge part of how we keep our games affordable, but you can also help us out more directly by a donation to my Ko-fi. Ko-fi donations not only help support Willow Witch RP, but also provide your GM with much needed caffeine and unlock awesome perks for the entire Willow Witch RP community. These benefit everyone who plays with us for the next month. These perks can include double treasure, double XP, special companions, and even new quests. So there's a link for that on screen, but we'll be right back and see you all soon. Alrighty, guys, we are coming back in as the morning has begun to fade, as some figures have begun to rise, and conversation between Victoria and Vas seemed to have gone quite well. But the day, of course, must continue. Vas, you had plans to head to the library. Uh,
Yes.
so, uh, why don't we have it be a investigation check for your time at the library, and then how long do you plan to stay at the library this day?
Uh, like definitely a few hours, like maybe the afternoon.
Okay, yeah. All right. So, as you spend some time looking around, you're able to get a generalized knowledge of the cataclysm and sort of what happened. And then you find other bits of general history. You don't seem to find too much in the form of Lord Soth, but there is just a lot that you're looking into. Um, but it seems that you have a more general knowledge of the realm around you,
Okay.
and its histories. And maybe some inspirations based on what you've seen for some of your songs.
There's always that ulterior motive.
Always the ulterior motive. Uh,
Yeah.
so, your library visit goes well, undisturbed, though, um, perhaps again you didn't find just as much as you had hoped, but you definitely found a fair bounty of knowledge.
Okay. So enough to feel a little bit more comfortable, but still confused.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
so essentially like if you're thinking about like the new kid scale, like when you're coming to a new school, you're no longer having to reference the map for every class, but you still don't have everything down packed that it's like natural. Um, but
Okay.
you do have the knowledge.
Alrighty. There was one other thing, aside from performing, there was one other thing that Vass wanted to do during this downtime.
Heck yeah, what is it?
He wants to window shop for +1 scimitars if there's any place around that would sell such items, or if there's a place that will enchant items for you. He owes lots of money, so it's not going to be a today purchase, but he kind of wants to have um the cost on the back of his mind.
Well, you definitely know a gosh dang it, Science. You definitely know a dwarven blacksmith who is quite handy with weaponry, um,
Yes.
and might be able to perhaps answer your questions.
Okay.
So, uh, if you do head over to the Hammer Strike forges, Tyria Hammer Strike, who uh, he's the weaponsmith. Ah, I remember you. You had the dagger.
Yes. Yes, I always keep it with me now. It's come in very handy.
I knew that it was written for the right person. So, what brings you over to my forge once more? The fire is hot if you are looking for anything, but we also have our whetstones ready for anything that could be sharpened or cleaned. oil for the blade?
Yeah, I'm actually I'm wondering if you have any scimitars that are enchanted.
Hmm.
Like, I don't want Vass to say +1 because I don't think that's how people would talk in universe, but that's what he's getting at.
Right, no, no, no. She puts on a thought. No, not currently, but I mean, scimitars, they're simple enough for someone of my capabilities. If you're looking for a enchanted scimitar, I can get you a base scimitar that is just masterfully crafted and would be ready for any sort of enchantments that you would like to add to it, any sort of properties. I know a few people that can, get the right sort of things onto it. But otherwise, I can just craft you a master level, ready to be imbued with any sort of magics.
Okay. Go to character. Would those scimitars be any different than the scimitars Vass currently has?
No. Essentially, what is being offered in game speech is a +1 scimitar. So she's just creating a better version of the blade, which would then be primed for any sort of additive enchantments that Vass might want to add, but they would be +1s.
Oh, but they would be +1s.
Right.
Okay. Okay. And how much would 2 of those fantastic scimitars cost?
Ooh, for 2 of them together, it would probably be on the order of. Uh, I like you. I do. So I could probably do a. I could probably do them both for 900.
All right, that sounds very fair. Um, I'll be back in the not too distant future to place that order.
I will see you then. Tyria will go back to her work, and you can hold on to the knowledge of what you will need to acquire for such scimitars. But before we get to Vass's performance, Victoria, do you do anything?
No, funny enough, geez, no, she'll wait a while, so it's not like first thing in the morning, which I guess just happens naturally if you're waiting for Vass. At some point, she's gonna grab that Dragon Army sword that she had looted a while back and had been using, and then go see if she can find Darrett. Not too busy.
So as you look for Derek, you can find him. Unfortunately, it does not seem that he is not as busy. He seems to be running around, but he'll stop, smile at you, Victoria, as he sort of jogs over. Hey, what's going on? Do you need me for anything?
Yes. No, not right. Are you? Let's walk and talk. I guess you're going somewhere. It looks like.
I'm overseeing a lot of things, assisting Vendry and kind of keeping the cool. I've had scouts running around or in the distance, trying to find tracks of the figures you had mentioned to me about yesterday, Lord Soth, and whatever retinue he came with.
I don't think that's something you'll probably pick up on. Is there any news I can take to my companions? Or is there maybe, do you have an inkling of when we might be called in again?
Vendry is going to want to talk to you soon. I believe in the next few days, though right now her hands are tied. But I'll be keeping in touch with you, your group. And but just be aware that a conversation, a meeting's going to be happening.
Yeah. So she's gonna like hold the sword up and be like, I replaced my sword, and this I don't know if you ran into any of them. The Dragon Army has these enchanted fire swords. This is one of them I've been using. I wondered if you would want it.
I mean, sure. I not one for the sword, but it's good to have it in case, they get a little up close and personal.
If you're going to be running along all stupid, charging into every silly battle, you should probably have a decent weapon.
I'm only charging into the battles that I need to. If I was to charge into every stupid battle, I think I would find myself at your sides more often than not. Not that your battles are...
All right.
Not that your battles are stupid, and you could see a flush on his cheeks, but you often get into more fights than I do.
Between you and I, if you had actually seen some of them, you might keep that opinion of them being a little silly.
And he'll chuckle.
We're somewhere in the keep, eh?
Yeah, you're moving through the castle grounds, and the hallways.
Okay, she's gonna like pull him into a doorway or a little side hallway or something at some point and be like, listen, I was talking to Vass.
Okay. Whatever Vass said, I'm sure is a great idea. As again, there's like a pink tinge to his cheeks.
Okay, he said maybe I'm not being... Okay, listen, I didn't want to scare you. I mean, I don't think you scare easy. I don't think. I kind of want... Oh, this is hard. It's hard.
As you are saying this, he reaches out and places both hands on your shoulders, Victoria. There's a soft look in his eyes. If you're trying to say what I think you are, and I don't want you... I've not been scared, but a lot has been happening, and I don't want the stress of this war to affect the efforts that I want to place towards you, Victoria.
Maybe she's getting a little pissed off. Look at that.
He continues, I really like you, and I know that you know that I care about you. And if my hesitation has caused an offense, I'm terribly sorry.
I'm not offended.
And
I feel the same way. I think
I am willing to put aside that caution in these moments of tension if it would bring you some ease.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yes. So yeah, Fast has a performance coming up. Not that that has anything to do with that.
Vass has a performance coming up.
Yeah.
And would you like to accompany me as a date?
Well, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So we're on. Yeah. Okay. We're on. I feel good about this. We're on the same page.
And
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
if you would excuse my boldness, he would say just before he would lean in and give a quick kiss.
Well, she's not going to let him get away with a quick kiss.
So,
she's a little hungry.
so
And maybe she seems a little hungry. Not entirely. Too many appetites.
mhm. Eventually your oh my gosh, stream chat, I love it. Eventually your sort of rendezvous off in one of the alcove and doorways must come to an end. Darrett again does have work, though he does seem to have to pull himself back into such actions. But you have a date,
Yay.
an official one.
Yay.
And we will is there anything else you guys would like to cover before Vass's performance? As I'm assuming you all attend.
And for the most part, Victoria will hang out with Sam and make a few appearances around Vogler and see if there's any extra healing or disease destroying that needs done.
Yeah, easily enough handled. Bye.
Before Vass's performance, Rue just approaches Vass and reaches into his pouch and produces the other health potion that he made and hands it to Vass and says, I saw you give this to that knight back there the other night. This is to replenish your supply.
Oh, thanks, man.
You'll be a little
Appreciate
bit
it.
of good luck for you too.
All right. Then your performance comes forward. Comes time, evening falls. There is a crowd, not as heavy as you have seen in the past, but still sizable. And Vass, I will ask for a performance check, please.
Now, can I be encouraging Vass with that sweet little gem that gives out a little bardic inspiration?
I will say, if you use that gem for yourself, in a charisma check, to encourage your companion, I will add a bonus to Vass depending on how well you roll.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's like a straight charisma check. Yeah.
Straight charisma.
Yep. Roll. So that's a 16 plus. So I get to add the bardic to myself.
You add the bardic to yourself, so
right.
1d6.
Yep. Where is it here? Oh, okay. So 17 total.
17. What a 17 will get is Vass. Whatever you roll, you can add another 2 to the total.
Okay. So before I roll, Vass is gonna, get the crowd going with the shanty again, and he'll cycle through some of the classics. But based on his recent adventures in the catacombs, he's been composing a new one that talks of dastardly deeds and skeletal steeds. And he'll also throw into the mix.
Heck yeah. That's inspiration worthy.
Yes.
All right.
All right, so that'll get 22 plus 2 for a total of 24. Yeah. Uh, the small crowd, or the smaller crowd, I should say, easily warms up to what you are presenting and even hungrily takes in the new one. And you even draw in figures that may not have otherwise entered in, and by the end of your performance, there is a roaring crowd here in the beacon.
Vass is just drinking that in. He needed something like that after the events of the last few days.
Then let's get a roll here for how much you would receive. Tonight you would draw in 207 gold.
Nice. I can go pay back Wyan for the balance.
Heck yeah,
And to Tina for the bit that I owe her as well.
you can.
So Vass is getting out of debt tonight.
Let me update my notes.
Yeah, he owed Wyan 200 and he owed Tatina 25
That
and he
is
had 31. So he definitely has enough to cover both of those.
next thing on the list. Those scimitars.
Yeah, now I can start saving for the scimitars.
But as the performance goes, Darrett not moving much from Victoria's side during the evening. It's a lovely night for all of you. However, as the morning comes, and so you gain back any expended uses of any sort of tokens on the third day, you are called by Darrett in the morning. Or, well, really, he finds you. And as you are approached, I know that I had told Victoria about this, but Marshal Vendry is wishing to speak with you all sooner rather than later. You all are available this morning. He gives a bit of a nod. Well, if you're available this
Early
morning,
did he show up?
he would have been mid-morning, so not quite dawn, but not the late morning that Vass would naturally roll out of bed.
Uh-oh.
Do you want us to wake up fast, or do you think Vendry will wait?
Vendry can wait for Vass, but if it's not terribly long.
Victoria will look at you and Rue like, how much longer do you think usually?
We should go shake him.
Process.
I'll start the coffee.
Root points in the direction of Vass's room and just starts whispering using message. Wake up.
Oh, we could have made Darrett wake Vass up.
Wake up.
Vass just starts grunting because he's vaguely half awake and kind of knows someone is trying to talk to him, but he's not conscious yet. So yeah, he's just making noises.
Luffy's getting cold. Wake up.
So, heard Hugh mention something about shaking Vass. Is that an actual plan of action, or was that just a suggestion? Because if Hugh is going to go shake up Vass, I would like to know what Vass's reaction is.
Does Hugh do that?
Maybe he's muted.
Oh no.
I don't know.
Oh, I think Hugh just is getting fed up and is just gonna go wake Vass up anyway.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So Vass,
Yeah.
it was for the beginning just a whisper of someone trying to catch your attention that flitted through a half-conscious state. And then you hear the door open, and Hugh is attempting to wake you, and as this is happening, Hugh, what does that look like? Are you just shaking Vass awake?
I picked up like doing it, but don't want presumptuous to put my hands on him, so I got like my bow as a stick, just tap tap.
So it's a poke. Okay. Um. Okay.
Yeah. Vass will proclaim, "What? Stop poking me. Do I smell coffee?"
Yes,
You
it's time
would
to get
smell
up.
coffee, yes.
Okay. I'm coming. He doesn't get up. He says he's coming, but he's still laying face down on the bed with his eyes closed.
Vass, we have business. You would hear Derek from the other room.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm coming for real this time.
So, through the process of Vass getting up and then getting acquainted with this morning's cup of coffee, or at least the first one. Well, my scouts have gotten back to me, so I can at least give you a bit of information before you head to Vendry's office. The Red Dragon army has split its forces. There is a contingent that is inexplicably heading into the northern wastes.
Well, I mean, then maybe that has something to do with what happened.
That's what I'm thinking and fearing.
What's up there?
Ruins, wastelands, flash floods.
So we don't have any idea what might be drawing them there.
Let me just check something real quick. You would recall, as you asked this question, of your battle with Sarlamir. As you heard that Sarlamir would have said that Soth beckoned him northward to the place called the City of Lost Names. Perhaps that is what those figures going into the northern wastes are following.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound good.
But when you are ready, there is the meeting with Vendry, which Derek would lead you to. Marshal Vendry has claimed a modest meeting room down the hall from the council chamber that was marred by Lord Soth's attack. The room here holds little more than a long table covered in reports, though the tall windows offer a stunning view of the city and harbor beyond. The marshal stands by a window, gazing towards the horizon when you all enter in. From a seat at the table, you see Lord Bacaris glancing at you. Here they are now, Marshal. Perhaps if we hadn't put our faith in several swords, my son would be at my side, and the governor would still be alive.
Oh, Victoria's looking at Hugh. Or Rue. Rue had that conversation. Looking at Rue.
Hugh is subtly cackling with energy.
Vass is glaring daggers at him. He's like, maybe if you weren't so stupid, all of those things would be true. Vass has no sympathy for this man. None.
There is a seething that you can see on Lord Bacaris' face.
Why is this person still involved in any way in the workings of this palace, castle, keep, whatever?
Lord Bacaris was just on his way out.
Oh, good then. And then Hugh snaps his fingers and casts silence upon him.
Ah,
There is a moment of where there's shock and when Bacaris tries to say something and is flabbergasted that he can't hear it and that there's no response, and then that he can't hear anything. There is indignation as he kind of huffs and leaves.
yes.
I am terribly sorry of the poor tastes of politics as Vendry turns from the windows towards you all. But there is conversations we must have. Please, if you could explain to me what happened on the day of the attack. What do you know of the governor's death, the council members' deaths, and just... I know you gave your statements, but we need a perhaps more in-depth conversation.
We came to make our report from the battlefield. I believe that was Vendry that sent us, right?
So you...
From the battlefield?
No, Derek sent you from the battlefield. He was
Oh,
going
okay,
to
I
meet
thought there
up.
was someone else there.
He was
Yeah.
meeting up with Vendry's forces from their travelings.
Okay. So we went from the battlefield where we met Derek to bring news. As we arrived, we couldn't gain access to the palace because there were knights blocking it, which we quickly discerned to be undead and unfriendly, at which point we took action to gain entry into the palace and came upon the slaughter. And she'll let someone else take the story from there.
There was a knight who was acting erratically. He attacked us. We attacked him. It turned out he was possessed again by some ghostly creature which tried to possess us before we dispatched it, and it disappeared, flew off.
We found an ancient crypt within the castle. There's some indication from latent magic there. It's something to do with Lord Sith. We found more undead creations in there. And also we heard, what was the name of the place? The City of...
The City of Lost Names.
Right. We were told that they to seek the City of Lost Names. Or where they're going. What they're doing.
Sort of riding off of what you had said, Darrett would interject as well. And my scout, I had them look into the situation freshly after it occurred. Soth and his retinue headed towards the northern wastes. Vendry, as she's hearing this conversation, doesn't sit, but she leans against the table, both hands on. This is a difficult position. I know that you are capable and reasonable figures. But Lord Bakaris has been spreading rumors, saying how you could have saved Kalaman's leaders, and there are locals that are looking for someone to blame for this terrifying occurrence. But there is nothing that I know of a city of lost names, and everything about the northern wastes is nothing but deadly wasteland. If Soth is heading there, there is no further threat. Not in my eyes. We can't be spreading ourselves too thin. We must focus on the forces that are nearby and restoring the government of Kalama.
Okay. Where does that leave us?
For now, assisting Kalaman's forces. Without Kalaman, there is no defense. There is no place of refuge.
It can be a lot harder to keep refugees safe now after what the Cars did.
And I understand that. But I was not
I
here
guess
for
any
that decision.
Yeah, and I guess any credible witnesses to that decision are all murdered now, aren't they? Conveniently.
Are you saying that I have some part or benefit from this tragedy?
No, I'm saying that Bakaris either got really lucky or by design doesn't have anyone in the council that he convinced to strip their city of its safety net alive to testify against him.
Now, friend, this bickering is pointless. It would be imprudent to leave this to not at least send some force, scout out, make a threat assessment of what lies to the north. I could, with these powers, with Lord Sooth, we can't rely entirely on conventional thinking. He has far greater resources than just soldiers and armies. You can't defend just against one threat and not and be blind to the one that can come to our back. By no means do I think we should empty the city. Just send enough to make a reconnaissance in force. It's keeping communication.
Roll a persuasion check, Hugh.
Ooh, I am not. Didn't realize I was speaking in French, so.
Derry. Hugh is making good points here. Soth is a threat, and there are dragon army soldiers in the north as well. Whatever plans are happening there shouldn't be taken lightly.
Out
He
of
did lay
character,
claim to Caliban.
Two people were talking at once. I heard Vass first. What were you saying?
I just wanted to ask the others, like, if did we mention to Vendry that Soth appeared to have stolen something from the catacombs, like that purple fire thingy?
I mean, I assume that we included that in the report. We didn't talk about holding anything back.
Okay, that was all I.
Okay. And then what about Victoria? What were you saying?
I don't know. It's gone.
Well, then it must not have been important.
Oh, no. No, she's just going to point out that Lord Soth did, or his emissary did, lay claim to this city. So whatever he's doing, you can bet that he'll be back.
Roll a persuasion check and do so with advantage.
I want to roll persuasion check with advantage. You give me the advantage window. Give me. It's being stupid. All right. Yeah, heck yeah.
Nat 20, okay.
Mr. I don't want to roll persuasion at 20.
As you make this, Vendry's face becomes that of contemplation. And Darrett, seeing this, seeing the opportunity that you have created, gives you all a bit of a nod of, we've got this. Marshal, if you are worried of any sort of the soldiers, allow me as a lead, a contingent of the troops, and to go alongside them. She seems resigned to this before Darrett even finished. Because that's what a natural 20 will get you.
Wait, did he just ask her for him to lead troops to the north?
Alongside you. To lead a contingent of... That's what he's been doing. He's liaison and her right-hand man.
My friend just got a big promotion and you didn't.
I do not think this is the most strategically sound. I will have that on the board. But I do think that it is important for your group to perhaps get out of Kalaman for a while, avoid the ire of its citizens. Derek, stay behind so we may discuss the logistics of this. But, if you all would wish to wait, you may visit the library here in the castle, learn what you can about the Northern Wastes, since you will be making a trip there.
All right, Victoria will nod. Look at the others.
Yeah.
So, do you all head to the library to research?
I mean, I'll let
Yes.
them research, but I'll support them.
Okay.
Yeah, Vass will absolutely go back to the library.
So,
Is primarily looking for maps that he can try and memorize.
yeah, an hour in the library of just kind of studying, whether it is diligently or not. You research the Northern Wastes, anyone who would do so. And here in Castle Calaman's library, you learn after the cataclysm, the Northern Wastes became a very barren and deadly region. It is prone to flash floods. But as you are looking through, if anyone would like to roll for me a history check during your researching.
Oh,
Oh no, Victoria. Um, That, perhaps it is because you have this information so close to your mind from earlier trips to the library and Rhubarb. You learn of grand ruins and recall that they predate the cataclysm, and these ruins litter the region, though there are few explorers that survive any attempts to seek them out.
It's like this area is more ancient than the elders of my tribe.
but does it, assuming you guys are mentioning that, does it say anything about what threats there are in that region?
Rats.
Well, if people aren't surviving their efforts to go search for things there, then either the terrain or things that live there are threats, right?
There is
Mhm.
notation that the flash floods can be particularly deadly.
Okay. Remember, everyone, take climbing gear with you. Or brew, I guess, if you have some kind of spell, might be a good idea.
Don't think so.
You've got a spell to help with falling, but not with floating.
I guess I have Misty Step or whatever.
Oh, I'll do you fine. Brew, how would you handle a flood? Sorry, this is Vass.
Not well. Not exactly the most athletic in the climbing department. Nor do I have any spells that would be overly helpful in a flood situation. Is there an inflatable raft that we can carry?
None of the
Maybe we should get you.
castle guards nearby would comment that there is an inflatable rafting at the stores.
We can get you some rope, I guess.
imagine identifying the problem areas would go a long way to preventing trouble in them.
I do have a rope in my backpack, 50 feet.
And I have a rope.
Maybe Wyan has some potions of spider climbing.
Just so long as you don't ask what goes into those potions, right?
Yeah, Vass is trying really hard to focus on the climbing part of that spell.
I mean, that level of potion's beyond my capability, but if she can teleport us across time and space, or just space, then she could probably distill some spiders into a potion as well.
Vass is singing in his head while Rue is talking about spiders.
So, while your companion Derek still seems to be in meeting with Vendry, you can, of course, if you wish to head out to Wyan to see if she can provide you any sort of aid, do that, as well as other perhaps last-minute endeavors in Calamon. But it's not long after your research that Derek does find you. Okay, so I've spoken with the marshal, and she said before, but now formally, we are being sent to the Northern Wastes. The official,
Perfect.
the official statement is investigating the Dragon Army's agenda there. I will have the command of a few hundred soldiers.
Whoa!
It's not all of our forces. It's just a small handful of them. But we are, to avoid any sort of attention from the Dragon Army, the ships to ferry the troops will be traveling across Calmon Bay at night. There's going to be a area we head to called Wrecker's Edge. It lies on the southeastern shores of the wastes. This is where we will have the troops disembark.
Was Rue able to find a map?
Yes, and that'll
Okay.
be the map that you guys have in
Right.
Game Room.
Perfect.
But if you didn't, you would be provided one.
I'm curious why we're not going up the Anglerend River.
Let me just double check. Because it would, it's a bunch of ships. You would not be able to get the area through there. As it's just a river, you'd probably be able to get one ship or a few across.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just going across the bay to dock and drop off the forces. And then, of course, as it gets more arid, less area, you'd be traveling on foot. But as you are made aware of the notes or the results of the conversations, we will be taking our next ad break here. So please stick around with us. We will be right back to continue our story with any sort of preparations and then a departure from Calamon. So But before we head out here, I just want to ask you guys, let the ads run. Please don't leave us. Ads are a huge part of how we keep our games affordable, though you can also make a direct donation to Little Witch RP through my Ko-fi. We have a link for that on screen. Ko-fi donations not only help support Little Witch RP and provide your GM much needed caffeine, but they also unlock awesome perks for the entire Little Witch RP community. These perks can include double XP, double treasure, special companions, and even new quests. So, we love you all, and we will be right back. And we are back. You're with Darrett, and he has kind of explained everything about what has happened from your investigation, or your main missive, discover the Dragon Army's plot, thwart it, return to the ships, is the basic gist of things. But if you have questions for Darrett, he is, of course, able to answer, but otherwise has encouraged you all to prepare, as Darrett wants to depart for the following night. But if needs must, can delay.
Delay. Now, so they don't want to go tonight. They want to go the next night?
Right, so today would be a day of preparations.
Yeah, and then we go at night.
Well, no, because they still have to prepare and alert the soldiers that are leaving out. So
Dear God.
today,
Garrett's holding us up already.
it's not Darrett, it's politics and how military works. Not everyone's a sellsword ready to go out.
Victoria's not a sellsword. She's motivated.
That's not what Lord Vicaris says.
Well, maybe I guess I have a night to find Lord Vicaris and eat his face.
So, you
I'll
have...
hold him down for you.
That's a real final encounter of the campaign, is finding Vicaris.
in an alley somewhere.
A rusty tire iron.
Yep.
But yeah, so you have the rest of this day, which would be the afternoon and into the evening, and then tomorrow for any sort of business that you might wish to do, any sort of goods and wares to procure for your trip into the wastelands. Any sort of updates to those that you might have business agreements in progress with, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Victoria will take the time to find one or two of the knights, and just you know what? No one told her she couldn't share this information. So, and she will give them all this information.
Okay. Yeah, easy enough. You find Levna, who is the knight
Yes.
that you've been
Yep.
hanging out with the most. Is she kind of lingers about the city. Well, that's good to know, for sure. I don't know that we can do anything about it right now, but I can keep my eye out, and if there's opportunity to sort of interject, definitely do so. But I mean, we're also on our way out of Kalamon. After
What?
after the situation, and it having been pointed at knights riding through, we weren't really the most welcome in the first place, but we were tolerated, and right now that's kind of not the case. So we're migrating back to our headquarters, but we're keeping an eye out on the situation that's surrounding everything.
This city. It's like they're trying to be destroyed.
Well, not everyone really cares for the knights these days, and it's something that we recognize, and we try and keep that balance held. And we'd rather have a working relationship with Kalamon than try and impose our will here and have them hate us even more.
Okay. She'll like clasp her arm, like, good luck. Stay safe, and I'll let you know what we find.
You as well. Hopefully I see you after all these battles are over.
Yeah. Sooner rather than later.
And there is a smile. It seems to stretch against some of the scars on Levna's face. But she definitely shares the sentiment. Is any other business handled? Do you seek out Wyan for potions? Oh, you?
You would go visit his Spoglerites he was training, and he'd tell them that he's leaving them, and they should stay here, continue your training. Remember that the quickest way to die is to run away and throw your shields, but if you hold together, you'll probably survive. Unless there's a dragon breathing fire on you. In that case, you should just scatter. You're not ready for that yet.
A lot of just there's faces that are kind of blank in trying to absorb the knowledge that you're giving, but they nod and seem to be receptive.
Oh, I'm so proud of all of you. Yeah. Any of you need anything before I go?
Yeah, can you check my form here real quick? One of them will display as they've been training. Go ahead, roll for me a athletics or survival check.
All right. 23.
His stance is a little wide, but otherwise the forms of his arms are quite sturdy and well practiced and should be suitable.
All right, great job. Do that, and here, and then I rolled over 20. I'm going to show him. Now, this is the next move. If they block you, do a twist like this, and then you can stab in, and you're great. Excellent work. Everyone, do what he does. He's great. You're all great.
Amazing. So he goes right into practicing that, and you can see that there is a sense of pride in him, that he has reached this level, and they begin their drills and practices.
Okay. And remember, don't do anything I wouldn't do. And don't do anything I would do. There's a gray area, that's where you guys live.
Live in the gray area. Got it.
Yes. Don't try to be heroes. Try to just be guys, and you'll be fine.
Rule 17, don't be a hero. So, Maru, Vass?
All right.
I want to track down that leather worker and just put in the order for my boots because I'm assuming Wyan doesn't know the size of my feet.
Wyan also said that the best that she would do is bring it over to a leather worker and have them start the process of getting tanned.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I just want to let them know who I am, show them like the size of my feet, because I know the tanning's going to take a while. This
right.
sloppy stuff's got to dry, but I think we're going to be gone a little while this time too, so that's perfect timing.
All right. Yes, I can take a measurement of your. I'll have to get this to the cobbler, but I can do that as part of your services here. And you said that your name was Rhubarb?
Yes.
Yes, well, this should be ready for pickup in about I would give it about 2 weeks. A week for my services, another week for the cobbler, since this would be more of a business thing, a personal customer. But I'll bring it back to my shop and have it ready for pickup.
I'd like it to match the autumnal colors of this outfit as much as possible, please.
Sure, we can definitely keep it in the warmer range of colors. Do you care if it's the natural red? Do you wish me to add any sort of dye to really emphasize the red? I can bring it down to maybe a warm brown.
Um, like, do I have brown pants already?
You've got brown pants, you've got the yellow goldenrod vest, you've got the red belt. You can make it to match the belt. You've got the shifting autumnal colors of your shroud.
Let's make it match the belt.
Takes a close peer at. Yes, I could be able to match that color. And I will see you in 2 weeks. I will have a deposit down for the tanning process of perhaps 10 gold, and then I can update the price after, the cobbler process.
Sure, yeah. I will put down 10 gold.
All right, so this will cover the fee of tanning and holding the supplies, the product afterwards, and then again, I will update you with the price after the cobbler. So, does Vass do any sort of preparatory work?
Yeah, he's gonna make sure he pays the people that he owes money. Um, so he'll quickly pop by and give Tatina the 25, and then he'll swing by Wyans to settle up his debt there with the extra 200 that he owed.
Mm-hmm.
And while he's at Wyans, he would ask if she had any potions of water breathing or climbing or something in stock.
I do have in stock 2 potions of water breathing. It's quite a favorite amongst tourists and those fishermen in the bay looking to get mollusks and other creatures.
Yes, I imagine that they would be popular. How much would those two cost?
Let me just check something real quick. It's a 3rd level spell. Okay. 1 potion would be about 50 gold. 2 potions, 100.
Would you be interested in a trade?
Roll a persuasion check. as you do have a friendly disposition with Wyan.
Globe in exchange for the potions.
She will look at it. It is in fairly good condition. I can see that you're trying here. And you are reliable. I'll cut you a break. I'll trade one potion for this item.
Deal.
All right. So you can take the drift globe out of your inventory and add in a potion of water breathing. Any other smaller acquisitions can happen easily. Night comes, the day follows, and your preparations are finalized. And as you are ready to head out, you are set to meet with Darrett at a section of Kalaman stocks. These are set aside for the military. As you arrive in the evening light, fully rested and prepared, you would see two figures that are present, familiar, but perhaps a little unexpected. Alongside Darrett is Cudgel Iron Smile, who gives you all a hearty smile, and Tatina Wrinkledust, though it takes a moment for you to recognize her, as her hair has now been dyed a bright violet hue.
Yes, the Nazi scientist gnome.
That is not at all what... But she seems fairly excited. So,
Cudgel.
but I can't have you taking all the fun for yourselves. Though, I did have me a bit of red herring as she nudges over to Rue.
Rue just kind of wryly smiles back at her. And it's a good time. Good meal, huh?
Good meal.
Are you? Victoria's gonna lean over to whoever's closer to her, Hugh or Vass. Is Rue? Does he have a thing with Cudgel? Are your people coming as well, Cudgel?
No, the rest of the regiment staying behind here. I know that there's a bit of some tensions with the knights leaving, and I don't want to... With us taking a contingent of soldiers, I want to leave some soldiers behind. They'll behave, of course, but I mean, it'll be just like the old times. I'll be out on the road doing what I do.
We're glad to have you along.
Well, this is going to be great for me, Tatina will say. I know that you guys have been using the Fargabs, and, you know, I haven't heard any issues with them, but being able to see them in action and perhaps maybe tinker a bit, make them a lot better in use. We'll see what we can do, but a field test opportunity is something that doesn't come by all that often.
Oh, great. You know, you should probably carry it so you can do things on the fly with it.
I mean, sure, I'll carry it, one of them. Am I carrying yours or yours? If she'll point to your group and then to Darriot. I mean, you'll be traveling alongside me, so if you would like to carry it.
That's between Vass and Derek.
So, Darriot offers his to Tina.
I mean, we're probably the ones most probable to be somewhat separate from the main group at some point. So it probably makes sense for me to keep ours, this one.
Yeah, and of course, if anything comes up, any sort of problems that you've got on it, you can just, pick up the receiver and, ask the questions. I'll be able to walk you through any sort of processes, but I think it will be fine. But when you are ready, you can board one of the ships. And the water sloshes.
Are we taking horses?
No.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
okay.
there are work horses, but no, not like riding horses. Unless you've
No.
got your own and you want to bring.
No,
But
if no one else is bringing them, then I'll tell Sam to be good and keep an eye on things around the castle.
the water sloshes. Wood creaks as the ships depart from Calaman's docks in the dead of night. There are a few citizens that have gathered to bid farewell to their loved ones, though those citizens soon fade from view. As the ships cut through the dark waters of Calaman Bay, they sail to the perilous shores under cloudy skies. And it is with these rolling waves and the uncertainty of what lies ahead of you that we will end our session this week. And we will pick up next week with you all arriving at your destination. Hopefully to no troubles, though there's only one way to find out. So, I will see you guys in the next stream. Until then, please head over to littlewitch.com. Join us at join us there. Jump into our Discord to hop in a game yourself. And as always, we have a burning light forever guide your steps. Laters.